Hello future officers, welcome to another session of NewsKase, wherein we try to bring in the most relevant of current news which is integrated with both prelims as well as mains. So the topic for today's discussion is derived from an article which was published recently in Indian Express, meant to reduce stress on big cats, why safari parks may be a double-edged sword. So we will be studying today about the tiger safaris, and its relevance from our examination point of view is from GS paper 1 as well as GS paper 3 and geography optional. So let us see what is the context or what is the background behind today's discussion. So recently, Honorable Supreme Court, it has said that it was inclined to approve establishment of tiger safari at Pakrau in buffer area of Corbett Tiger Reserve. So it is about tiger safari. We will see what do we actually mean by tiger safari. But you should know that Pakrau is in the buffer area of Corbett Tiger Reserve. और अगर आप उन लोगों में से हैं who are seeing the news on daily basis, who are updated with the current affairs, so you must have gone through this particular news article as well, wherein the bench, the honorable bench of Supreme Court, it was amazed to see at the audacity of ex-minister and the officials who were involved in cutting down of 6,000 trees in the reserve, as per the honorable bench. So it has also given CBI 3 months of time in order to complete its investigation into the alleged irregularities inside the Corbett Tiger Reserve, as per directed by the Uttrakhand High Court. Now let us try and understand what does a tiger safari actually mean. टाइगर सफारी कहाँ पे डिफाइन है? अगर एक स्टेटमेंट आता है एग्जामिनेशन में कि टाइगर सफारी हैज बीन डिफाइंड एज पर वाइल्ड लाइफ प्रोटेक्शन एक्ट, वुड इट बी करेक्ट और वुड इट बी रॉन्ग? लेट अस सी. So tiger safari is not defined. Tiger safari is not defined under the Wildlife Protection Act of 1972, which says no construction of commercial tourist lodges, hotels, zoo, safari parks shall be undertaken inside a sanctuary. But there is an exception, except with prior approval of National Board for Wildlife constituted under the act. तो यहाँ से तो हमें नहीं पता लगा how a tiger safari came into being. So let us try and understand the concept of tiger safari in the wild. So it was year 2012 when it was first envisaged in the guidelines for tourism which were issued by NTCA in 2012. Now you should know what is NTCA. NTCA is National Tiger Conservation Authority, which was constituted in December 2005. So it provided for such establishments in the buffer areas of tiger reserves which experience immense tourist influx in the core or critical tiger habitat for viewing tigers. In fact, जब आप भी जाते हैं नेशनल पार्क्स में, वाइल्ड लाइफ सेंचुरी में, what is one of the major point of attraction? Everybody wants to see the mighty tiger, charismatic tiger. So there is a huge tourist influx. Now there were subsequent guidelines which were released by NTCA. In 2016 we had certain guidelines. उसके बाद में they updated their guidelines in 2019. So let us see them one by one. So NTCA issued the guidelines to establish tiger safaris in buffer and fringe areas of tiger reserves for, now this is important, for the injured, conflicted or orphaned tigers, while underlining that no tiger shall be obtained from a zoo. कि टाइगर सफारी में जो टाइगर्स लाए जाएंगे वो कौन होंगे? दैट वुड बी द इंजर्ड टाइगर्स or the orphaned tigers. And very important, no tiger would be obtained from a zoo. ऐसा नहीं होगा कि zoo से कोई टाइगर को लेके आया जाएगा और उसको डिस्प्ले किया जाएगा टाइगर सफारी. It was not there. Then a tiger safari, it can be proposed only by tiger reserve that have already utilized 100% of their tourist carrying capacity. ऐसा नहीं है कि सभी टाइगर रिजर्व्स में टाइगर सफारी को अलाउ किया जाए या इट वुड बिकम अ नॉर्म. सिर्फ वहीं पे टाइगर सफारीज होंगी which have already utilized 100% of their tourism carrying capacity, tourist carrying capacity. I hope this is clear. Then as per section 9 of the 2016 NTCA guidelines, only the injured tigers after suitable treatment, conflict tiger or orphan tiger cubs which are unfit for rewilding and released into the wild, they ought to be put into the safari. Injured tigers, orphan tigers, but that too after proper recovery, after proper treatment has been provided to them. So this was the case in 2016. Ab 2019 mein what happened? Let us see. NTCA, it has allowed animals to be brought from zoos. आपने देखा था 2016 में what were the guidelines of NTCA? That no tiger shall be obtained from zoo. But 2019 में NTCA allowed the animals to be brought from zoos. So they have basically changed the guidelines for tiger safari parks and gave Central Zoo Authority the power to select such animals. Which animal has to be selected? It was Central Zoo Authority. Central Zoo Authority को वो powers दी गई. अब Central Zoo Authority, you should be aware when it was created, under which act it was created. So it was created under Wildlife Protection Act. So a separate chapter Chapter 4A contains section 38A to 38J. It was added to Wildlife Protection Act 1972 for the establishment of Central Zoo Authority. Or accordingly, Central Zoo Authority, it was established as a statutory body under Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change in the year 1992. I hope this is clear. But now there are certain concerns also. क्या concern है? Is everything good if we have tiger safaris? One concern that you can think of is if we house zoo tigers. अब zoo के tigers को भी allow किया गया है कि zoo के tigers को display किया जाएगा in the tiger safaris. Now what can happen? There can be an outbreak or there can be a risk of diseases, right? So housing the zoo tigers or other captive animals in tiger habitat is obviously a bad idea according to some experts, which would put the wild tigers and other wildlife at risk of diseases. So this is the basic concept of tiger safari in the wild. Now, why build a tiger safari in a forest? If you were in a debate और आपको for और against में एक topic मिलता, yes, why we should have a tiger safari or why we should not have a tiger safari. So for those who are in favor or for, what are the arguments? First and the foremost, back in 2012 when this whole idea was envisaged by NTCA, it has justified the safari parks as a means to lessen the tourism load. Because everybody wants to see the tiger, right? So in order to lessen the tourist load inside the tiger reserves, that causes stress upon the wildlife. Second, and very important, many are against packing off animals that are unfit for wild. They may be injured, orphaned or given to conflict to faraway zoos. तो सफारी पार्क्स अगर होंगे they would help hold such animals captive in their natural surroundings. Meaning by, we can have some animals who are orphaned, there can be some animals who are badly injured. So it is a good idea as per some experts कि उनको वापस से उनके नेचुरल एनवायरनमेंट में ही लाया जाए, भले ही वो कैप्टिविटी में हो, बट it would be better if they are put into their natural surroundings instead of putting them into cages or zoos, etc. And thirdly, some stakeholders, they argue that buffer areas, they were designed to allow activities that support livelihood and developmental needs of local communities. आपने बेसिक कॉन्सेप्ट जरूर से पढ़ा होगा कोर के बारे में, बफर के बारे में. Now, if we allow tiger safaris to happen, so what would happen? They would generate money, and when money would be generated, local communities जब involve होंगे, उनका livelihood और ज़्यादा बढ़ेगा. So what would happen? It would be good for the local goodwill. It would generate local goodwill for the tigers. So this is for why we should have tiger safaris. But like every coin has two sides, similarly, what are the counter arguments why we should not have tiger safaris in place? Let us see them one by one. So instead of bringing down vehicles around tiger, a basic premise क्या था कि टूरिस्ट का लोड बहुत बढ़ रहा है तो उससे स्ट्रेस हो रहा है वाइल्ड लाइफ के ऊपर. Then instead of bringing the number of vehicles down around tiger, opening of new safaris, they have actually increased the crowds. More and more crowds are pouring in to witness this beautiful and majestic tiger. And the whole idea of displaying rescued tigers in safari parks is departure from keeping such distressed animals in non-display facilities. A basic premise क्या है? टाइगर सफारीज में किन टाइगर्स को इंट्रोड्यूस किया जाएगा? टाइगर सफारीज में उन एनिमल्स को या उन टाइगर्स को लाया जाएगा जो ऑलरेडी इंजर्ड है, जो ऑलरेडी ऑर्फन्ड है, जो ऑलरेडी कॉन्फ्लिक्ट में है. Although we have guidelines from the NTCA that only after their treatment or recovery they should be brought in, but still these are distressed tigers. और आप distressed tigers को एक display में अगर रख रहे हैं, right, so that can again cause some discomfort to those tigers. Right. So in order to substantiate this point, 2016 guidelines, they have made it mandatory for NTCA to assess every recovered or treated animal before putting them into display. And if we house the local rescued wildlife in their natural habitat, so it is an idea driven by concerns for animal welfare. Right? This makes sense. If we house local rescued wildlife into their natural surroundings, it would be beneficial for animal welfare. But there is another point of view. So some conservationists, they are of opinion that a captive animal will be captive anywhere. जो captive animal है वो चाहे captive tiger safari में हो या वो captive zoo में हो, still it would amount to its captivity. That is again a point of concern. And building safari parks for rescued tigers inside the tiger reserves, what does it do? It actually prioritizes welfare of individual tigers over the interest of the entire species, since such establishments are bound to cause disturbance in wild habitats, which we have already discussed. One point of concern is if, God forbid, there is an outbreak of disease, what would happen? It would be big damage. It can be a actually big blow to the entire biodiversity. What is the road ahead? What should be done? So the guidelines for tiger safari parks are awaited from Honorable Supreme Court appointed expert committee. Guidelines are still awaited. So this is a news in transit. We will have more such details unfolding as the time progresses. However, one size fits all formula is unlikely to be helpful. So more prudent way, what is the more prudent way? More prudent way is to provide site specific solutions. And it is also important to avoid the temptation of making tiger safari parks a routine affair or routine feature for the tiger reserves. ऐसा नहीं है कि आप हर एक टाइगर रिजर्व को you start making tiger safaris in order to generate more and more revenue, because that also has an implication upon the wildlife of that particular area. And we should not forget what were the NTCA guidelines back in 2016. It has said that a tiger safari can be proposed only by the tiger reserve that have actually utilized, that have already utilized 100% of their touring carrying capacity. So सिर्फ वहीं पे आपको tiger safaris allow होंगी. So this one should not forget. And last but not the least, and a very important point is the approach must be ecocentrism and not Anthropocene centrism. So we should not put our egos above the ecosystem. In fact, we should approach the entire matter from ecocentric perspective. I hope this concept is clear and you have enjoyed the tiger safari. So this is it for today. We will meet with some other important point of discussion. Till then, keep studying and have a good time.